Okay, this video is about using slabs to build. So I rolled a long slab out yesterday, and you can reference the slab rolling videos for that. And then I lightly covered and let it sit, and it's in a really nice leather hard stage where I can still mold it and shape it, but it's not so bendy that I can't pick it up. And so, like, depending on what you want to make, which you have the option of going wide, minimum 8 inches, or you can go tall. And so that's up to you how you want to do it. So this slab piece is more for 8-inch wide dish, and so I can kind of set this slab up like this and let it hold its shape. And also, before you get started, the nice thing to do is like knowing all the measurements for your cuts. So depending on what shape that you're going for, if you want to do like a circle or oval, in some ways you want to draw out. You don't have to do it this big, but like know your measurements. You know, if you're doing a circle, your circumference multiplied by pi to get kind of how long you need your slab to be. I always like making my slab one piece if possible, but if you're having a hard time rolling slabs, then you can definitely do the sides in multiple pieces, like in 2 pieces for this, or 3. But each piece that you have to make, you have to connect and create a seam, which creates a little distortion in the form. So if you can, making it one piece gives it a nice clean look. And so I have this, which I've made kind of to show you how this should look and feel. Put that aside. I have this bottom slab, nice and leather hard, and you know, keep in mind the thickness. You don't want it too thick, and probably about a quarter, a little less. And in here, I'm gonna attempt an oval, but if you have a template, you can use a compass, or even printing something out and then cutting that out to trace is a nice way to get a uniform shape. And so there's that. Fold it in, shape it, get it to where you want it, and then when it's set up a little bit on the location, this is where I can draw the outline on the bottom slab of the side walls. And so I think the most important part is to have a nice leather hard slab to work with. And then when we get to that, well, let me draw an inside line too, so I can get kind of a clean score line going without overdoing the scoring. See, you should be able to pick whatever slab that you're working with and it not bend so much. That's definitely the goal. So slip and score is the most important thing when slab building. there's a lot of connecting parts. So score nicely and well, and the more joints you have, the careful you have to be in the drying process, so keep that in mind. Get my sloppy slip brush. So gone. And so this, I think what I'll do is just score the top and flip it over so that it's easier for me to attach, then I'm not moving my slab around too much, because clay does have a memory, so anytime you put a good bend in it, it will remember that, and even if you like bend it back, you could risk it coming back up in the kiln. And so before I actually attach this to the bottom, on the inside I didn't clean up my seam very well, which, you know, when you attach the seams, you don't want to go really butt to butt connection. If you can see, you don't want to just connect it like that. You want like a angle and then the two, and then there's more surface to attach. So when you have your slab rolled out like this, you can just press and give it a little angle. You can do it like that, or you can take your wood rib and just gently kind of press it down, give it a nice slant that tapers, give it a taper edge. Okay, same thing to the other side. If you have a small roller, then you can use that too. So be creative in how you do that, but that's another way to kind of make your edge so that when you, actually kind of put your pieces together, it will attach nicely. Slime. Or the other method, which I've already kind of shown, is you put your two ends together and then you just cut down with your paring knife or whatever tool you have. Cut on the angle and remove the excess. And if you're doing this cutting too, make sure to roll your slab out a little larger than you need to. And then you got a nice surface area that you can attach. Okay, so that's another method. And of course, slip and score, and then you can kind of make sure it's on there by moving it sideways, up and down, and when it's stuck, you can feel resistance. So there's that way. But so that's kind of what I did here on this seam. Coming back to this, excuse me. But the inside needs a little cleaning up, and so I'm gonna give it a gentle score, and there's a little divot in it, so I'm gonna do a little slit, and then I'm taking this tiny coil, and I'm just gonna fill in that divot, and because I just applied slip on it, it's very slimy, so I'm just giving the coil a nice little press, working my way down to the bottom of the wall, and I'll just kind of hold off on that and come back to it. And so while that's drying a little bit to my workability, I'm going to attach this to the bottom of my pot, which looks like my slip's already drying, so let me just put a little more on here. And sometimes it's nice to put a little excess on, and then when you put the sidewalls and attach it, the slip squeezes out, and then you can use that to kind of fill in the gaps or smooth those connections together. I see some potters that really heavily use slip and actually kind of clean it up later when it stiffens up. So that can be your personal preference to how you want to do it. That's nicely slipped. This, I'm going to be careful about it, not to handle it too much. And this is where, if you have a template, then it's nice that you can kind of also lay on top to make sure your form is properly in place and looking good. And also you can play around with where you want your seams to be located. Of course, if you're doing a square, it's kind of easy to know they'll be in the corners, but if you're doing an oval, you can kind of pick what part you want it to be in, and you can feel the different ways the slab likes to warp depending on the location. So actually having the seam over here in the front could have like helped with more of the curve, but this is working out for me. So just clean that up. So it looks pretty good in form, like that. And then to give it a gentle wiggle and press down and wiggle, and I can tell it's attaching. And then another way too, when you have a flat top like this, it's nice to take flat wearboard or a bat of some sort, and then you can kind of lay it on top and use this as a little even pressure and wiggle it into place. And I can tell it's really stuck, but you don't want to press too hard, then you're just going to push the walls down. But okay, so that's attached nicely. I just gotta clean it up. And then what I want to do is take more smaller coils and put a nice bead of coil that on the bottom where it meets the sidewalls. Up. So have a nice form going here, and if your bottom edge is nice and clean and you don't feel that you need to attach a coil. You don't have to, but it makes a huge difference in the cleanliness of the form. Okay. Clean this outside seam a little bit, and oops. And anytime you're working on the inside or outside, you want to give the pot an opposite support. Clean that edge, sponge that. Got kind of a nice texture going from the canvas, so I don't want to totally ruin that, so I'm trying to be very gentle in the parts that I sponge, but slab built things are really nice because it gives you a really clean surface for decoration. And then for this project, I need you to choose minimum, was it 2? I think that's what I said. Decorating. Yeah, check what I said on the assignment, but choose methods of decoration, and I want basically a layered dimension of decoration. So if you want to do first sgraffito, or if you want to do a carving and then layer it with dots of underglaze or slip, that's okay too. But multiple decorating techniques, and I think incorporating carving is a nice way to really create that dimensionality in the form that sometimes the pot can, I wouldn't say lose, but when you're slab building, it does have a different feel than when you're pinching or coil building or throwing on the wheel. So kind of adding a little layers and nice touch of the hand back into the crisp form is fun. So got a pretty good start over here, and then I can just kind of, I like using the needle tool for this, but cut the edge. Missing all my tools today, but and I like to kind of work my way down, put a easy quick line in, and then cut all the way through. And sometimes here too, you can leave a little excess and then kind of pinch it up and then make a little cute ruffle bottom. That's an option. So, and then I can really smooth and clean up the seam over here. And finish it off, but so not too bad. I'll do a little more work in cleaning it up, and then I can decorate it. Probably put some slip on it, and then I could carve it, and then I could put wax on it, carve it again, and then inlay a different color slip or underglaze. So there's a lot of options that can be done, but that's a pretty nice start to a dish. Okay, so that's the next assignment is slab building. So this is the 8-inch wide one, and if you want to go tall and make a vase, this is what I started for an example. And when I rolled the slab out, I basically used one of these to kind of roll the slab around, and then connected the seams. So, and then I used the rolling pin as a support while I was joining the seam, so I had something to press upon. So use the tools around you and make it work. Okay, I'm gonna trim that. So here's the 2 examples of what you can do. Tall slab build pot or a wide slab build pot, and you don't have to be this tall for this. You can go 2 inches if you want, but sometimes it's easier to work with a higher slab. It doesn't bend so easily when you have a little bit more width. So that's a suggestion. Like this one is a little shorter, which is a nice height too. So, all right, good luck with your assignment.